Hi everybody, welcome once again. And in today's video, I'm going to explain you that how subsidy affects the allocation of resources in the market. In today's class, we will specifically talk about the subsidy which is given by the government to the firms. So in this case, as we can see that here, this diagram represents a competitive market. So in this case, no subsidy is provided yet. So here, as we can see in this diagram, that the sum of the consumer surplus as represented by this area and the producer surplus is maximum. So there is no welfare loss or deadweight loss in this case. As the government provides subsidy in the form of a fixed amount per unit of output to the firm, this results in a rightward shift in supply curve of the firm because this subsidy results in a fall in the cost of production of the firm. So there will be a rightward shift in the supply curve. As a result of subsidy, there is a rightward shift in the supply curve. So this will be the new equilibrium. And if we talk about the price which is received by the producer here is represented as PP, and the consumer has to pay a lower price. This is the price which is paid by the consumer now, and the difference here between PP and PC represents the amount of subsidy. The total amount of subsidy in this case is per unit subsidy, that is the difference between PP and PC here, and if we multiply it with the total number of units, we'll get the total amount of subsidy which is provided. So this rectangular portion here, as you can see, represents the amount of subsidy which is provided by the government. So this subsidy leads to subsidy puts a pressure on government budget because obviously this has to be financed by the government. So it may raise taxes or may cut expenditure on other areas like maybe healthcare or education. Those subsidy results in a burden on government finances. At the same time, this results in a gain in both consumer as well as producer surplus. This is a consumer surplus without subsidy, but after the subsidy, the consumer has to pay this price, PC. So now there is a gain in consumer surplus. So this much is the gain in consumer surplus. Similarly, if we talk about producer surplus, so before the introduction of subsidy, this was the producer surplus, but after subsidy, the producer is getting a higher price for the product, this price PP. So now there is a gain in producer surplus as represented by this green shaded area. In this shaded area, this is the additional producer surplus. So technically, we can say that after subsidy, there is a gain in both consumer as well as producer surplus. But is it so that there is no welfare loss? So for that, the answer for this question, the answer is no. Even though there is a gain in consumer as well as producer surplus, but there is over allocation of resources towards the production of this good. So technically, if we see that in a free market without any subsidy, the optimum allocation of resource was there, and as a result, this much amount of output should have been produced. But after the imposition of subsidy, the output QS, which is produced in the market, is greater than what is actually required. This can be seen in terms of marginal benefit and marginal cost curve as well. If we see that at this output level QS, the marginal cost is greater as compared to the marginal benefit that the society derives from this good. So overall, we can say that there is overallocation of resources towards the production of this good. This results in a welfare loss to the extent of this triangle A. Because of overallocation of resources towards the production of the good, and since we can see here that the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit, so there is a loss in social surplus, and this welfare loss as a result of subsidy is represented by this triangle